Greetings and welcome. I, Wes Fox, will be your host in reviewing the anime show Fire Force. Today's review will be paired with a delicious oolong tea, so grab yours and let's get this started. My plan had been to do a face-off with the two shows that I felt were the most hyped fall anime of 2019. At least that's what my inbox told me. It was going to be a Dr. Stone vs. Fire Force showdown. But the truth is, since that idea originated, I still need to finish Dr. Stone. I missed a couple episodes and still haven't bothered to catch up. In a roundabout way that gives you a preview vibe of my feelings for that show. Moving into Fire Force, I will start with some basic plot breakdowns with non-spoilers in my opinions, and then move into some spoiler thoughts. A point to note, I've only watched the show, so my thoughts, feelings, and opinions will be based on the show alone, not including the manga. The plot. Long ago, the nations lived together in harmony, then everything changed when the fire attacked. Set in a unique world where about 200 years ago a great disaster happened, and a majority of the human population burst into flames and then turned into demon-like creatures coined infernos before perishing. This event had a dramatic shift on all life on the planet, with what appears the majority of survivors living in Japan. The survivors have rebuilt a new society with the fear of people turning into infernals ever present. There is also a new group of humans that have developed fire-based powers over the last couple generations. In the show, the focus is on the civilian firefighting company called Company 8, based on our world's firefighters. Their goal is to learn what causes human combustion in this world. Some pre-spoiler thoughts. Built on a pretty solid concept with characters I for the most part liked, this was a show I enjoyed watching each week, and I do look forward to the next season. Now the big question is, how will you like it? This show falls into a wide category for me of enjoyable shows. It is not a must-watch, nor is it a hard pass. Your enjoyment will come a lot from your personal taste and things that you dislike or like in anime. Fire Force is an action-packed fighting romp with some mystery, comedy, and yes, some fan service. Speaking of the fan service, I'm mildly aware that there was some super friendly debate over the merits of the show's use of it. I personally don't need fan service in my shows, as it's not why I watch most anime. At the same time, it didn't ruin my enjoyment of the show for me on any level, and it was used mostly in comic relief in most places. Your barometer for fan service is independent to you, and that's all I can say about that. If you do care about fan service in your show, I would say that when it's done, it's either done very sexy or very silly. Technical thoughts. The show's animation, character design, and music is all beautiful and well executed. I personally love the first OP's music and the whole animation for that matter. I actually have the song in my workout playlist. There are a couple moments I will talk about later in the spoilers that I think are absolutely gorgeously designed. This is a bit of a short section because I don't have a lot of negative things to say. Last note, if you like the English dub as I do, the English voice cast does an excellent job. I'm going to start moving into spoiler territory now, which I don't plan on talking about any spoilers that will ruin the show, but if you like to go into it mostly blind, I would stop here and come back after you watched it. Alright, here we go. Now, Fire Force did start off feeling a bit awkward to me. Not that they was bad, but the first couple episodes just didn't get their hooks that deep into me. It was about episode 5 when Shinra saved the captain of Station 5, Hibana, that kinda got me going into the show. Maybe it's my personal silly optimism, but I loved his desire to be a hero, and her change of heart and love for him actually felt like a big turning point in the show for me. The other big moment that had an impact with me was when Shinra saved Tamaki. Really enjoyed that moment, and wow, the animation in some of these scenes is amazing, and the animation for her in that moment was truly heart-wrenching. For me, one of the biggest positives of this show is that I really like all the characters. The company and crew is a lot of fun, and their interaction with the other companies is also quite fun. I'm not going to do a full character breakdown, maybe in the future, but overall I think it's a really good cast. This show also has some really great villains that you'll come to enjoy disliking. I'm not going to go too deep in that road either, as I do feel the larger villains are coming up in what will be the next season. There seems to be a larger threat manifesting, and I think that's going to be cool to see as it comes along. With my opening, I did allude to Avatar, and the reason for this is simple. Who doesn't love Avatar? The good news is this show does not rip off anything from Avatar The Last Airbender that I'm aware of. I will use the two shows to compare the magic system. Fire Force uses a very soft magic system compared to Avatar's hard magic system. If you're unfamiliar with this category system, the basic rundown is that hard systems have far more ingrained rules. Shows like Hunter x Hunter and Full Metal Alchemist are good examples of this. In these shows, the magic has hard set rules. For example, in Full Metal Alchemist, the rule is the law of equivalent exchange. You must put in what you get out. In a soft system, these rules are not so set in stone and flow with the story, and adjust as needed by the plot, and a lot of times are based on emotions. It's a huge and wide topic, but as you watch the show, you'll see that being able to control the fire expands into a much wider set of abilities, loosely set on the concept of fire. Fire Force definitely has a mushy magic system. Fire is the basis of the show's magic, and I use the term basis lightly. The variation in power creep with sometimes nonsensical fire powers is very fun, but it does ride the line of jumping in the shark, and for some viewers, it may have already jumped it. I personally don't mind, as this is a unique universe, and I do enjoy the imagination put into it with all the different ways that they have used fire. A quick bounce back into animation, the animation of the fire types do look great, and I don't have any notes of bad CGI that bugged me or distracted me. The final few episodes had some really great visuals that were haunting and very memorable. Alright, so now I'm going to move into a couple major spoilers, some things that if you really do want to watch the show, I would say hold off from listening to these, as they kind of apply to more direct items. The end reveal of the disaster to be from the dimension of hell is really cool, I think. The scene where his mother connects with him through the Dole link is beautiful and horrific. It also allows kind of the silly escalation of fire powers to make sense, since the origin is actually more on a cosmic level versus just a natural thing. However, I would say the final arc I would consider the weakest, because I did feel it was a little bit rushed. I'm not completely sure how I feel about it, but I can't say it blew me away. There was some really good scenes where they animated it really well, but it did kind of push on the edge. That said, I do really appreciate the continued world building and power upgrades. Some of my random thoughts on the show with no particular order. These are going to be some positive and negatives. Arthur bugged the crap out of me till about episode 16, and then I did start kind of warming up to his character. Did you see that scene where they literally bash the guy's head in with the pipe? Then they have like the mice hiding the final beatdown. I thought that was really dark and kind of came out of nowhere. It was kind of funny, but also like, ooh, that's not nice, but he kind of deserved it. So it was kind of an interesting thing. The leadership of Company I really like. I think the leader is really cool. I really enjoyed him. And really the whole cast has a really solid backstory. I'm really a huge fan of the cast in this one. I also really like Shinra's agency in the story. There are so many stories I feel like that have kind of these bored protagonists, and I really like that he really just kind of wants to be a hero, and I do appreciate his spirit behind it all. I do love that Princess Hobana has a major crush on him, and I think that's pretty hilarious, and I do like her. Not a huge fan of her like stepping on everything and people, but yeah, I'm just not into that. Again, the first OP is amazing. I love the song. The second one I'm not such a fan of. Just not my style. I do hope all the answers to the questions and some of the events that have happened in the story do get answered and aren't kind of stupid. And that's always, you never know in a story when you start watching it, but I do hope that I do hope all the answers to all the questions end up being good and not stupid. I do hate when you start watching a show and you're like, oh, there's some really good, interesting stuff here. And then it kind of goes into the territory of because and no reason. I also like the story lore as it kind of has gotten built. Like, I think it's intriguing how they view the subway tunnels leading to hell, even though they were actually built by people at one time. There is some awkward humor, but it's also kind of the weird charm of the show. If you've seen the part about the donkey head and Arthur, you'll get what I mean. It's hilarious, but also like, oh, okay, I guess that's what it is. But it was still made me laugh though when I was watching it. So in conclusion, what do I think? Is this a must-watch show? I can't say that it is, but I do think it's one that can be enjoyed. It's a fun action show that doesn't take itself too seriously. I recommend watching this show if you want to relax and have some overall wholesome shonen fun. I think the characters will be the biggest hook for the show overall, and I hope that it continues to be a great story. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will like and subscribe. I plan on doing a lot more anime content coming up and hope you will be there. Till next time.